The following evening, the sun painted the sky with a palette of pinks and oranges as it dipped below the horizon. The children could feel the garden's anticipation building as the shadows grew long. With the golden egg nestled securely in her pocket, Jenny led the way back to the clearing, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Eliot trailed closely behind, his imagination racing with thoughts of what the egg might hold. As they sat beneath the wise old oak, the whispers of the garden grew louder, the very earth beneath them vibrating with the anticipation of the egg's revelation. The moment Jenny pulled the egg into the light, the patterns on its surface grew wild, swirling and pulsing like a living painting. Suddenly, the egg began to crack, the delicate lines spreading like spider webs across its surface. A soft, melodious chime filled the air as the shell split into two, revealing a creature so extraordinary that it took their breath away. It was a dragon with scales that shimmered in every color of the rainbow and eyes as bright as the stars that twinkled above. The dragon looked up at them, curiosity dancing in its gaze, and let out a tiny, yet powerful, roar that seemed to resonate through the very core of the garden. Jenny and Eliot stared in awe, their hearts swelling with a mix of fear and wonder. The enchanted garden had entrusted them with its most precious secret, a creature born of pure magic and love. The dragon looked from one to the other, as if choosing its guardians, and then it leaped to Jenny. The children felt a warmth and bond that surpassed any friendship they had ever known. The dragon's eyes met Jenny's, and she knew that their destinies were now intertwined. With the weight of this new responsibility resting on their young shoulders, they named the dragon Caesar and promised to keep it safe, to explore the world together, and to uncover the secrets of the enchanted garden that had brought them so much joy and wonder. The garden whispered its approval, its magic weaving around them like a warm, protective embrace, as the three of them set off on a journey that would span years, uncovering the truth about the egg, the dragon, and the hidden powers that lay dormant within their hearts. They walked back to Jenny's home, their heads spinning with tales of dragons and magic, their hearts full of the warmth that only a newfound friendship can bring. As they approached the cobblestone path leading to Jenny's door, they heard the distant sound of laughter and chatter from the town square. They realized that the egg had not only brought magic into their lives, but had also reminded the town of the joy of childhood. The whispers of the garden had carried beyond its borders, reawakening the spirits of the townspeople, who had gathered to share stories and laughter under the stars. The town was alive again, and the children knew that their discovery was the catalyst for this newfound happiness. With a promise to visit the garden every day and keep the dragon's existence a secret, they parted ways, each eager to share the night's adventure with their families, but keeping the truth of Caesar hidden for fear of the greed and curiosity that might follow. The enchanted garden watched over them, its magic weaving a protective veil around the little dragon, ensuring that its secrets remained safe within the hearts of the two friends who had brought it back to the world. And as the moon rose high, casting its silver glow over the town, the whispers of the garden grew softer, content in the knowledge that its legacy had been entrusted to those who truly appreciated the wonder of its magic. The days that followed were filled with whispers and wonder as Jenny and Eliot tended to their newfound friend. Caesar grew quickly, his scales becoming as hard as the finest jewels and his eyes as bright as the sun. The children taught him to control his fire, which started as no more than a flicker, and soon he could produce a gentle warmth that danced in the palms of their hands like a living flame. They took him on secret adventures, sharing the beauty of the enchanted garden with him and watching in amazement as he interacted with the other magical creatures that called it home. Each day brought a new discovery, a new friendship. The garden thrived under their care, its magic seeping into every corner of the town, bringing joy and enchantment to those who walked its streets. The townspeople noticed the changes, their eyes lighting up with the same wonder that Jenny and Eliot felt, but none knew the source of this newfound happiness. The children grew in courage and wisdom, guiding Caesar through his first flights and whispering to him the secrets of the world beyond the garden walls. And as the seasons changed, so did the bond between the three, growing stronger with every shared laugh and every whispered promise to keep the magic safe from the shadows that lurked outside the enchanted realm. One evening, as the scent of blooming lilacs wafted through the air, an old woman with a stooped back and a knowing smile hobbled into the enchanted garden. Her name was Bernice, the village witch who had been living on the outskirts of town for as long as anyone could remember. Her eyes, sharp and seizuring with curiosity, fell upon Jenny and Eliot as they played with their little dragon, Caesar. The whispers of the garden had reached her ears, and she had felt the stirrings of magic that had once been lost to time. Bernice had spent her life studying ancient tomes and brewing potions, always seeking the power that would grant her the ultimate control over the village. Her curiosity piqued by the sight of the children, she grew suspicious that they may be harboring the very creature she needed for a potion that could unlock unimaginable dark forces. The thought of the children unknowingly unleashing such power into the world filled her with a mix of excitement and fear. Determined to uncover their secret, she began to observe them from afar, her mind churning with plots to claim the dragon for herself. The next day, as the children played in the garden, Caesar's playful roars echoed through the trees. Bernice, who had been watching them from the shadows of her cottage, felt the vibrations of his power resonating within her. She knew the dragon was growing stronger, and with it, the temptation to claim him grew irresistible. Under the guise of a friendly neighbor bringing gifts of fresh berries and herbs, she approached the garden's edge. The whispers of the plants grew tense, and the animals fell silent, sensing the unspoken intentions behind her kind smile. Jenny and Eliot, lost in their laughter, did not notice her at first. But when Caesar's eyes caught hers, his playfulness vanished, replaced with a protective instinct that had been dormant within him since his hatching. The old woman paused, her hand outstretched with the offerings, and the air grew heavy with anticipation. Jenny, feeling the change in the atmosphere, turned to face Bernice, her smile fading as she sensed the unspoken tension. Bernice, noticing the children's guarded expressions, offered the berries and herbs with a warm smile. "These are from my garden," she said. "I thought you might enjoy them." Jenny took the basket with feigned enthusiasm, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew the old woman had an ulterior motive, but she didn't want to alarm her friend or give away their secret. "Thank you, Mrs. Bernice," she said, her voice a tad too high. Eliot mirrored her politeness, accepting the fruit with a forced smile. They watched as the old woman retreated into the shadows until she was out of sight. The moment Bernice disappeared, the tension in the garden dissipated like a popped bubble. The children exchanged a relieved glance, and Caesar's scales returned to their usual warm glow. They decided to play along for now, not wanting to provoke the woman or raise her suspicions further. Once she was gone, they hastily disposed of the fruits, tossing them into a nearby bush. The whispers of the garden grew more urgent, and the three friends knew that they could not let Bernice's curiosity lead her to discover the truth about Caesar. They agreed to be more cautious, to keep the dragon hidden even more carefully, and to continue enjoying the magic that had been bestowed upon them, all while preparing themselves for the possibility of a looming threat that the old woman's visit had brought to light. The enchanted garden watched over them, its whispers a silent pledge of protection, as they held on to their secret with the fierce determination of those who had stumbled upon a treasure that could bring either wonder or woe. Several weeks passed, and Caesar grew at a rate that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. He now towered over the children, his once tiny frame now that of a majestic creature as tall as a bear. His scales had become as resilient as steel, and his eyes burned with the intensity of 1,000 suns. His powers had also evolved, and he could now camouflage himself or even become invisible at will. One quiet evening, as the three friends sat by a babbling brook in the heart of the enchanted garden, Caesar grew solemn. His eyes now held the weight of 1,000 untold stories. He began to speak in a voice that resonated with the wisdom of ages, sharing a tale of a time long past, a time when dragons like him roamed the skies freely. The children leaned in, captivated by his words as he spoke of the 16th century, when witches had sought to rule the nation with an iron fist. In those dark days, the purity of dragon blood had been coveted for its unrivaled power, and the creatures had been hunted to the brink of extinction. His parents, in a desperate bid to preserve their lineage, had hidden their eggs in enchanted gardens across the land, imbuing them with a spell that could only be broken by the pure of heart. It was this very pureness that had awoken Caesar from his slumber when Jenny had found his egg, her innocence and love acting as the key to unlock his cage. The whispers of the garden grew quiet, as if the very plants and trees were listening intently to the dragon's harrowing account. As the moon cast long shadows over the clearing, Caesar's tale painted a picture of a world fraught with danger and the eternal battle between light and dark. The children sat in silent contemplation, the gravity of their roles as guardians of such a precious secret settling heavily upon their young shoulders. They knew that their friendship with Caesar was not merely a whimsical adventure, but a sacred trust that could determine the fate of the magical world they had come to cherish. And so, with renewed vigilance and a deeper understanding of the power within their grasp, they vowed to protect their dragon friend and the enchanted garden that had become their second home, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold.